Hey folks, welcome back to another HB Gaming GameLINK video. We have another Kickstarter unboxing for you today. A little bit delayed on this one, partly because we just have a massive backlog, so I'm working through them as quickly as I can. Today we are going to be getting our green thumbs on, heading out into the gardens, planting all sorts of magical plants and creatures, and trying to make the most amazing magical garden possible as we take a look at kids' table board games, power plants. Welcome back, folks, once again. For those of you who don't know me by now, and you should, my name is Matt, and of course I'm destined to be sure that we're going to become the very best of friends. As I said in the tease, today we are taking a look at another one from Kids Table Board Gaming, or Kids Table Board Games, who have produced some amazing quality work in the past, and they are showing no signs of stopping. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the garden building game Power Plants, where we play wizards trying to plant gardens and basically try to develop the most amazing garden we possibly can. Usually when I do an unboxing for a product of this magnitude with our friends from Kids Table Board Gaming, I usually have a junior gamer with us. However, with school going back and the workload just ever increasing, time is of the essence, and we are a bit behind the eight ball on this one. Partly because they have a new one on the way out, Maple Valley, which is a subsidiary game to Creature Comforts, which we unboxed last year, which is also fantastic. I will say too, quality components, quality gameplay, mechanics, everything else for days and spades with these particular games. Plastic, of course, on the floor. But without further ado, let's get into it. Put it up on the overhead and we'll show you what's in the box. So first things first, boop, there it is in all its stunning glory. Fairies here, giant monstrosity, flesh-eating plant of death and destruction, which we love. And then, of course, you've got the wonderful logo as well. Now, this is a Kickstarter Deluxeified edition, so I think there's going to be some differences to retail. I will say, by the time this video goes live, this should be available at retail. So check out our store if you want to get a copy, and you're within, you within Australia or in New Zealand. Check it out. Let's have a look. Let's open it up. I'm excited to see the components because the last few games we've opened up from KTBG have been spectacular. Fossilis is still a staple in this household. It's amazing. You can check out the video for that here. That video is a playthrough, Charlotte versus myself, and it's amazing. Flipping over the box lid, we're going to put this one up over here. There you go. Look at that. It's a nasty looking plant. Bit of information for you. Solo mode sheet for 1 player rules, 1 to 5 players, 8 plus 30 minutes-ish. I do like the accessibility for these games as well. Being able to be picked up and played by junior gamers. Now that Charlotte is 9, she's running with it. It's a bit crazy. How to win, training mode on how to play, which I dig as well. You've got here different components, how to set up the game. I do say too, the rule books and the information contained therein is usually really succinct. Scoring chart, alternate plants, mixing things up because the tiles are interchangeable. I'm going to put that one over there to the side. I'm going to get my trusty knife out because I'm sure I'm going to have to open up some cards. Solo mode rules, how you play against the mole. And then you have the mole powers as well, which is pretty straightforward. I'm going to pop that one just up over there. Oh, I have a cool little bag. Now this bag I think is where you draw your garden tiles from. So as the game progresses, you'll reach into the bag, pull out a tile, and then you'll be able to build the garden from there. Again, not 100% on the mechanics exactly. I've got a gist of how it works, but obviously, yeah, this one will be hitting the table over the weekend. So the bag there, we have a bit of a storage solution, I think, as well. Some player reference guides. You've got sprout powers and then the grow powers and all the different plants: honeyleaf, deeproot, tanglethorn, emberwood, starflower, snapjaw, which I believe is the one on the box, frightshade and wingbeam, and they have different requirements. Gameplay, how that gameplay works. On the back, you've got more alternate plants or advanced rules for the plants as well. So during the Kickstarter campaign, the community voted on different rule sets for different mechanics, which is awesome. And there's 5 of those for each of the players. Baggies and storage solutions, thank you very much. We always love that. All of the tiles here, which we'll come to later, and they are thick, durable wooden tiles that all fit together nicely, and I love it. It looks amazing. We have a beautiful collection of wizard tokens, meeples, and everything else as well. Sprite markers, so on and so forth, if I can get some of these out for you. And I find that they always have these beautiful color designs and color choices. Look at that, that's awesome. So each of these are, I think because it's the deluxeified version, the sprite markers have alternate sculpts. So instead of all being the same, just in different colors, you've got different sprites in different forms, which is just awesome. I love it. It looks amazing. Fairies. We've got little tokens. I'm just trying to find. We've got a guy who's got like a little mushroom head, like Toad from Mario Brothers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see here on the overhead, you've got the different sculpts of all the different meeples that are there, which is fantastic. I love it. And again, meeple quality, really great production. You've also got in amongst here a wizard token, a wizard pawn. So this guy moves around the garden doing all sorts of bits and pieces and helping things to grow, or causing trouble. I think that's also potentially used in solo mode as well, which I dig. They're fantastic. I might actually just try and put them back in the bag. Or should we leave them out on display? Because there's not a lot to the components of this one. There is... Oh, what do we got here? We've got different player references, player boards. But this could be references not for the players, but for the different plants themselves. So plant aids, I guess, for lack of a better term. And again, so much plastic. If you've played this one, please let me know in the comments below your favorite plant combination. Is there a go-to plant that you've used to help you get the big W? So we'll see what happens. Honeyleaf, when you sprout it, you place sprites. Add 1 sprite to each patch next to the wizard when you grow. Sweetleaf, which is the alternate version. Deep root and broadroot. Tanglethorn, Stranglethorn, the Emberwood, and the Cinderwood. The artwork too, Starflowers, Shyflower. So this is almost like a worker placement-y group development game, similar to games like Hamlet and things like that as well. Wingbean, Klingbean, Spiritbane, Frightshade, Raven's Roost, Crow's Nest, Ghost Cap, and Phantom's Hood. Now that's part of the mini expansion, I think, that's included in the box as well. Extra tiles that aren't included on those sheets there, because this is, as I said, the deluxeified, blinged out version. So you have extra wizard markers in the different player colors. There you go. So those obviously can be used to mark the different players as they move around the garden, trying to grow as much as they possibly can. Then we have VP tokens, which are very cool. Or are these gem tokens? They're called gem tokens. There's 2s. They're a nice deluxeified wooden component, which is fantastic. Carefully, because I usually drop stuff when I do that. I will say some of the tokens look as though they've stuck together a little bit, and it could be 1, it's been in storage, but obviously 2, that's just what happens. But they'll be easy enough to separate, I would imagine. I have the 5 tokens, so this is a group of 5 gems. So you can see here they're sort of stuck together a little bit, but if I just give that a bit of force, they should come apart without causing too much of a fuss. Let's open this one up again here. And again, I do like the fact that there is all those different, I told you, storage baggies for everything, which is just awesome. So catch that. There we go. And we'll put that one to the side. And then we'll go into these ones here. This is, what have we got? We got the 10s. So these are big 10 gem tokens. Again, heavy weight on them. Not too dense, but at the same time just adds a bit more of a feel than a chipboard or something like that. It's a bit more meaty, which is nice. And I think we've got single gems as well. Just because, for those of us that only like singular point tokens, And they're literally just single gems that you can use. Oh, that's got a nice little dividend. The tray here has a bit of a drop, so you can scoop things out, which is quite cool. What have we got here? We have Ponds expansion. So this is a mini expansion for components. This is going to be a little bit extra. You can see the nice logo in there too in the tray. I do like the fact that you can pretty much leave that as is. Nothing inside the bottom of the box there, or you can actually take it out and have it on display, which is kind of cool too. What have we got here? We've got some expansion content. We have Ponds expansion. Let's see, we've got Wizards micro expansion. That was those folks we saw before. Requires base game. Set up the game as normal, but instead of using the shared wizard pawn, each player gets their own, which means you can use your own wizard and treat the wizarded rules to your own wizard. Then you've got the sprite pawns. Set up the game as normal. But instead of the standard games formation, include the 2 pawn tiles to mess with how you lay out your board. The spades expansion allows you to dig up at the end of your turn after you've drawn a patch from the bag. You may discard your spade near the nursery face down, then swap 1 patch from your hand with 1 from the nursery. That's kind of cool. I like that. So the spade tokens are these bad boys here, and these ones are a very thick chipboard, and they've got a discard symbol on them for when they've been used. That's pretty neato. We'll punch those ones out now because why not? And then this can go on the floor. Then we have the Ponds expansion. So these tiles are going to be interchangeable with the tiles of the wooden variety here, and they're just going to create strategy in that you have to move yourself around to try and manipulate the garden to your liking. It's obviously going to add a bit more layer of strategy. Then we have another mini expansion here. What have we got here? This is a Stewards expansion, and this is a deck of cards which is usually not required for the base game. So let's just have a look here. Let's get some of this. This plastic is quite tight. Come on. People want to see what's inside. There we go. Did we get it? Yep, we got it. Go through eventually, folks. The skillful stewards bring their exclusive player powers to your games. Enjoy unique advantage that will guide your strategy. So the stewards are... the game doesn't usually rely on player powers, but this is probably more for those that like a more detailed strategic experience. Your Dune Imperium, that sort of thing. That's going to add that to this game, and the ability to have different abilities for different players, I think is really interesting. At the end of the game, before field scoring, choose 1 patch where you have the most sprites. Gain 2 points for each sprite in that patch, so additional endgame points. Pebblefoot, Beetlethorn, Slowshell, Hedgehopper, Flapdragon, Underleaf, Weebean, Woodfork, oh that's cool, Crystal Wing. So lots of different opportunities to mess with the players. I think you draft those. Players choose stewards in turn order. On your turn, take 1 card and any gems on it, then add 1 gem from the supply to the remaining card of choice. Once everyone has 1, return leftover cards and any gems to supply. Your card indicates the extra preparation needed, how to succeed, etc. I like it. I like having the option to just add that extra degree of chaos to the game. Very handy. All right, let's pop in these back in here so we don't lose any of the instructions for the additional components. We're going to pop those in there as well. Then we have a look at some of these tiles. Now these represent all the different plants that you can actually pull from the nursery bag during the course of gameplay. So let's see, we have, shall we start with the deluxe ones? Let's see what we've got. We've got some Fright Shade. And they have different point values. So when you play them to the table, you actually connect them up. So you can see they're quite snug there. So as the game goes on, you'll get this amazing plethora of a garden, different colors and stuff. And it's going to be vibrant and lovely and amazing. And those nice wooden components are going to be fantastic when it's all set up. Check out the flyover at the end of the video because you'll see how it looks when it's set up for a 5-player game. So that's the Fright Shade, or the alternate version of those. So they use the same tiles for both. Then we have, is this that fungus that we talked about earlier for the extra components? This is the Phantom's Hood. And again, they have different values on them. And again, they just fit together so nicely. They've been so custom cut. I love it. Then we're going to have, this is going to be our other custom one here. Not that one, which is it? Not the deep root. Oh, this is the wing bean. You see it flying around, doing its thing. Wing bean is there, or its alternate as well. Then we have, this is the deep root. You can see the deep root, it's sprouting up, but it's rooted deep into the ground. And again, they're textured. So while they're sort of screen printed on, there's a bit of etching there as well, which gives it just a nice tactile feel, which is fantastic. You've got emberwood, or its other name, the alternate names. I can't remember what they all are. There's just too many options. And then we're going to have the tanglethorn, which looks a bit nasty. I wouldn't necessarily want to get entangled in some tanglethorn. That'd be quite nasty. Then we have the snapjaw, the one that features on the front of the box, like a Venus flytrap looking folk. That would be interesting in terms of strategy and what the different things do. The starflower, this beautiful, vibrant purple, which is awesome. Dig it so much. Then we have honeyleaf. Nice, pretty, to the point, a bit dewy, which is very cool. And then last but not least, I think this is the Fright Shade. No, this is the Raven's Roost. What's the alternate version of the Raven's Roost? Not just Raven's Roost, the Crow's Nest. Crow's Nest plant. That's cool. I dig it. That is all the contents though. That's everything for power plants in this deluxeified version. So what I'm going to do is set up a flyover for a 5-player game, as I said, and we'll put out a few extra bits and pieces, the wizard spades, things like that as well, so you can see how it all looks like when it's set up on the table. So without further ado, my friends, we're going to roll that footage. I just like the feel of something tactile. Look, table presence is huge for me. For those of you that have watched the channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Having a game that looks great on the table adds so much to the enjoyment. A lot of people would argue and say, oh, if the game's no good, that doesn't matter what it looks like. And to an extent, that can be true. The game can be really, really, really bad, be overproduced and have production level off the charts and still be a dud. However, having the look and feel of something at the table like this, where you know the strategy is going to be great because the quality is going to be fantastic, because that's what KTBG is known for, you can just get a sense that this is something a little bit special. Strategy-wise, I like the idea of being able to mix and match the tiles, maneuver the tiles to hurt other players, but also it's not a take-that game as such, but the idea of trying to control the board in such a way that you maximize point scoring throughout the game and at end-game final scoring is huge. And that's something that I find kids table board games have done really well. The end game scoring for all of the titles that I've experienced of theirs so far has always been where it's come down to. It's been neck and neck and a nail biter right to that final wire. And I dig that so much. It's really engaging with all the players. And every game I've ever had of any of these titles has been spectacular. Creature Comforts has brought in folks that wouldn't otherwise sit down at the table. So that's been fantastic. All right, folks, that's it. That's all there is about power plants. Thank you very much for watching and for getting this far. It is very much appreciated. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down in the bottom corner there and give us the video a like, just so you'll be able to get notified whenever we post new awesome content. And once again, it would be remiss of me not to thank our Patreon subscribers, supporters, for allowing us to do all the crazy stuff we get to do here on the channel. There'll be plenty more board game content to come. We've got another unboxing I'm going to try and get done today. Kickstarters are on their way. We've backed a few new products. There's a new one out of Australia called The Score, which is effectively a role-playing game that takes 18 to 20 minutes. Go figure. Looks like it's going to be fantastic, folks. Keep being nice to each other. Play lots of games. Be social. We'll see you back here very soon for more awesome board gaming content. Until then, though, folks, it is bye for now.